interactive picture show review. Greetings, today we'll be reviewing Day of Infamy, a game from March 2017, spiritual successor to the Day of Defeat series, which was popular back in the early 2000s and late 2000s, unlikely to be overshadowed by other popular games including CSGO and Team Fortress. Sadly, this game has died off a bit because of the abandonment of this game by developers 1 year after release for something much more sensible. So what is this interactive picture show I've brought you called Day of Infamy? It's a World War II realistic teamwork-based shooter, which is basically a mix of Day of Defeat as mentioned before and Insurgency, which is the first published game. The gunplay is superb. It brings full feel of the weapons from the screen to your arms and ears and eyes. Everything's there. Your rifle, your submachine gun, your machine gun, shotguns, everything you feel kickback from every single weapon, beautifully detailed and characterized. The game brings forward highly tense and versatile matches, even on the same map, being replayed over and over again. Look at this moment I was running around with a pistol inside the buildings, blocking the capture. But suddenly a flamethrower comes out of nowhere, burning me and crisping my flesh, and taking out the whole team inside the house with one barrel of fuel. So how do you play this interactive picture show I've brought you here? In 2020 you'll be finding mainly games of invasion, offensive, liberation as your typical server game mode, which includes 32 players, which makes up 2 teams of 16 players, fighting for objectives. One team pushes and one team defends their point. Each team has a set amount of waves. The pusher will have it replenished, while each time they die and a wave is used to respawn them. And once that wave replenishes, then there's no more spawning and there will be a last stand until the last player dies or captures the point. This game has many historical units with fully accurate weaponry from the time period. But sadly, not all the units can be used. Some of them are locked behind a paywall. To survive the battlefield, you have to keep eyes and ears open, or you end up like this poor fellow running up towards the door of gunfire, only to be shot down by enemy fire. Wait for that last mag to run out and then run up to the nearest cover and look for smoke. Smoke is a lifesaver, do not forget that. Look at this, how they cannot hit us behind the smoke because they do not know where we are. Watch out for that unpredictable player behavior roaming the battlefields of this game. Keep eyes and ears out for that one sneaky player coming to stab you right in the back with their bayonets. This game runs on the Source engine and looks amazing for a Source game, I must admit. Look at the weapons shine, the helmets, the uniforms, the models, they all look superb with really good animations. Look at that smoke effect and terrain. Very nice for a Source game. The sound design is almost perfect, almost completely grasps the authenticity of the time period with bombs flying, landing, and gunfire blasting the air around you, the buildings shake to each drum of bombardment. Here is another tip for surviving on the battlefield. Aim down sights, that's really important. Try not to hip fire too much or you miss all those bullets. Look here. Perfect accuracy at close range with aim down sight. As you've seen before this clip, you saw the hip fire didn't work out very well. Here we have a player using a flamethrower or Flammenwaffen in German, but he made a big mistake and accidentally burned himself while using it. This is a common problem, so be careful. At the start of this picture show review I put up here, I did mention this was a teamwork based game, so here is some footage of some officer radio work. The officer requires a radio to be able to access special commands such as artillery and supply drops. So as a radio man, try to stick near him and allow your team to have some much needed benefits. It's ever so sad to see Officer get gunned down like that and explode into oblivion. But I did give him some revenge, whatever you call it. Oh, there we go. Here is some extra footage of the shotgun I've been using in the match as the British forces. A quick note on the shotgun, don't overestimate its inaccuracy. Over the last few years of this game being around, the community has found some ways to bypass some safety measures in the game. Like this moment here where enemy players somehow snack past our whole defense and waited at the radio to instantly shoot it. And this is the community's response. Get ready for...
She got infiltrated. Shut the fuck up, I'm radio. Shut the fuck up.
Well, that was rude for them to interact with me like that, but here we go. This game has quite a decent map selection, and one of my favourites one must be Dog Red, which is a D-Day map based on the invasion of Normandy. One of my favourite maps to go in Germany and pick up the MG42 to be instantly sniped by some sniper across the seawall onto the beaches. That doesn't mean that you can't get any good kills with the MG42. When depending on this map, make sure to check the sandbags on the second point you fall back on if you're playing as defenders. As shown nicely by this flamethrower you're soon to be seeing. It's very hard to see them sometimes. Again, talking about the flamethrowers, they're incredibly useful as dangerous, so use them wisely. This map is also one of my favorites to attack on because of the D-Day landing scenario. As you can see here, we start in a boat, one of those land crafts. We hear a whistle in the back, but unfortunately I did not bring any smokes, and see what happens if you don't. And now, to what happens when you do bring smokes, as shown here. Was able to make it through the sea wall. Now I'm going to share my favorite way of flanking the enemy. You get past the seawall, climb up the hill, and go through this little bunker down here, right behind the backs. But don't do the same mistake as I did here, where I decided to use hip fire instead of aiming down sight. Overall, this is a great World War II game that feels authentic and powerful. I give it a great 8 out of 10, worth a pickup. Good deals come out of Steam, £5/$. Great investment for your time. Thank you for investing your time into this review to see if this game is for you. This was the interactive picture show review, first of its kind. Have a good day, people, and that. See you in the next one.